Familia, welcome back. Episode 188. Do you remember? I love this, what we're about to talk about today, and I hope genuinely to get lots of feedback from every single one of you as we talk about some of the things that leave an imprint in our lives on the dance floor, people. And what we come to find as we live, as we dance, if you would, some of the most significant memories, if not all of them, are the experiences or exchanges or circumstances that had the strongest energy signature attached to them. What does that mean? That means that we felt a very certain kind of way in any direction, good, bad, ugly. It was so strong that you could say it imprinted, it burned, it stamped a very real feeling in our subconscious, in our minds, in our memories. Unfortunately, some of these are so strong that they are negatively created, as life can be very, very rough sometimes, which is the reason why we go out and we dance, right? I challenge you that after the awareness of understanding that the same way that these memories can be created in the negative, they can be very much done so in the positive as well. Remembering that time that you played with a significant other in the sandbox, in the playground, at school, having a touching conversation with a parent, having an amazing dance. This is really where I want to dive into, and we talk about this all the time. If our dances are done transactionally, there are very few business deals we remember unless it led to something grand. There's very few, I guess you could say, exchanges with, a high, with a stranger, unless that led to somewhere, right? And that left you feeling a certain kind of way, that left an impression as it stamped, as you felt a very strong feeling. And I'm trying to avoid saying pain or happiness or joy or fill in the blank, as that's not as significant or to the point as simply the level of energy or intensity that feeling comes with. So this idea that our memories, our ability to create them quite literally, is 100% within our grasp. In the past, we could find that it was a little bit more out of our control, of course, without the awareness. And a lot of these can be negatively charged. And we find ourselves oftentimes on the dance floor because of these reasons. And it's more like I'm going to finally do something for me. This is something that I've always wanted to do, and I deserve this. And you find your local dance studio, you plug into an amazing community near you, and all of a sudden, you're having a late night domino tournament, or you're sharing a sandwich with a friend that you met 2 days ago at Denny's, and you find these little things truly leaving an imprint in a positive way on your life. And I think that's kind of, the salsa bug, if you would, kind of gets us going. But it's these memories that are created thereafter. It truly is what makes, is kind of like the extension of the magic that happens on the dance floor. If you really zoom in, you can allow yourself to have these types of memories, these dances that you'll never forget by setting that intention, by allowing to yourself to feel a certain kind of way at such a level, a level perhaps that's more intense than you felt before, whether that's happy, whether that's positive, whether that's joy, whether that's sad. There's some awesome, sad, quote unquote, bachata songs, right? And that they're amazing and they really make you feel a certain kind of way. And if you're exchanging energies with somebody who's kind of giving you permission or allowing you to feel that type of way more deeply without, I guess you could say, feeling silly, it can really be awesome. It can really be awesome and can truly kind of leave that type of memory stamped, impressed upon your mind. There's so many in my experience of students that have reached out and thank you so much for your the time that you allowed me to share in the community, as these were some of the best memories of my life. And of course, it's extremely heartwarming. But I want to challenge you that this doesn't have to be by accident. This can very much be on purpose. And I challenge you always, as kind of like the recurring theme of our show is to be living life on purpose, is to be dancing when you want to dance, not because a salsa song is playing. That you're having a conversation with somebody because you want to be. As these types of interactions, these intentional decisions and actions can allow your heart to open up to where you can feel deeply enough. Sometimes we blink and 5 years goes by and we don't remember anything that happened in that time, as every day can seem very monotonous if we allow it to be, as there are very few real deep is probably the best word. I probably should have started with that. Deep feelings as these times pass by, especially for some of us that are, that are getting older, and it seems that time is accelerating. We want to be intentional about creating the environment in which we can feel these deep feelings that will ultimately create a memory. And that's ultimately what we're going for. And that's what we're, at the end of the day, that's all we can take with us is these memories. And the dance floor is an amazing place to create them as you're engaging, interacting, sharing wonderful, intangible feelings, emotions, expressions in every sense of the word. And because it's so organic, because it's so improvised, kind of the magic that gets created right in front of you because of you in your vulnerability can really leave a stamp. And I only say that with a smile on my face because I have so many, and I'm truly grateful for all of you, the community that really is making that possible as this community continues to grow, and the awareness of all the positivity that is shared on the dance floor. It's something so innocent, something so simple as dance and art in general. This is what it has always offered, though, and I want you to take advantage of that, as I've mentioned in some previous or more recent episodes, at least. As this is like a wonderful gym, a wonderful opportunity to practice life, right? If there's any place where I can be silly, it would be on a dance floor, right? If there's any place that's appropriate, figure it to be the adults' playground. I can be silly, I can have fun, I can move my body, however, and as long as it's on the beat, right? We're gonna be socially accepted, if you would. And at the end of the day, the fact that you have the courage to be there in the first place, by all means, is definitely worth or deserving of an awesome memory, as we allow ourselves to be vulnerable to be there. And that's really, again, where all of this kind of begins. And again, since the beginning of the show, continuing to push that idea so that you can imagine every single dance that you have, that you're locking that away. Oh my God, I remember that dance with this person. I remember that dance with this person, and I felt this way. And this was so liberating, and this was so freeing, and this was so joyful. This was so bouncy. And every single one of those having a very real, unique energy signature attached to them, because at the end of the day, again, referring to the Trinity, the song is different, your partner is different, you're different at the end of the day, right? And these unique combinations create something new each and every single time. So then when you add that onto, let's say, a congress, right? Or an annual event that you just made a trip for, right? And it's all of these kind of sacrifices that you've made to eventually lead up to this, singular event. Perhaps it's a wedding, right? A first dance, you know, all of these have a lot of energetic buildup that at the end, once it's kind of completed, if you would, you kind of go back and you're like, wow, like I was forced to be in the present moment. There was nothing else to do but be there, because this is what I've been preparing for for a very long time, whatever that time may be. So I challenge you to remember, and how do we go about doing that is by making sure that we're vulnerable enough, that we're allowing ourselves to be in a place that we can feel deeply, that our subconscious can save that moment, and you can take it with you from there forward. Your programming is the only thing preventing you from making that happen. Allow yourself to get silly. Allow yourself to have fun truly, and kind of take all the stuff that you learned, not throw it out of the window, but allow it to move from conscious to subconscious. Allow yourself to stand on that foundation versus kind of, I guess you could say, like reading a book, right? You're not taking the book on the dance floor with you. You're taking what you learned, and then you go about using it, right? And you use it by actually enjoying yourself in this instance. I hope to see every single one of you on Miami Salsa Cruise 2026. That's the last week of February. That's the 22nd to the 28th. We're going to Jamaica. We're going to Cozumel. And we're going to have an absolute blast as we have live salsa music every single night. And go ahead and check out MiamiSalsaCruise.com for all of that information. Again, I want to share the dance floor with you. Please share a memorable dance that you had. And I'm sure if you really think about it, you'll find that you can actually remember a lot more details than perhaps would even surprise you. What the other person was wearing, perhaps what they smelled like, where were you, what color the lights were. All of those little details, you'll find that they immediately pop up because they're rooted and anchored in a very specific feeling that, if you would, dare I say, it changed your life. You can have those experiences every time you hit the dance floor. I love you all so much, and I will catch y'all next week. Bye-bye.